Grace Mitchell had always known hardship. Born in a tiny village near San Francisco, her life was a quiet rhythm of chores, walking dusty paths, and dreaming of a world beyond the hills. Each morning, the sun touched the golden fields while she carried buckets of water, helping her ailing mother, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on her young shoulders. She often looked at the distant city skyline, imagining the bustling streets, the tall buildings, and the sparkling bay, a life so far from her reach, yet calling to her heart like a distant melody. Her journey to the city began on a small, rickety bus. The worn leather seats and the rhythmic hum of the engine became a lullaby of nervous hope. Grace clutched her small bag tightly, feeling both excitement and fear. The bus creaked as it climbed the winding roads, passing through the first glimpses of San Francisco, lush parks, old Victorian houses, and the ocean glinting like a silver mirror under the early morning sun. Yet, the traffic thickened, cars honked impatiently, and buses rattled past her. Grace's heart raced. She felt tiny in this enormous city. Her first weeks were silent struggles. Finding work was difficult. People hurried past her, strangers' eyes barely meeting hers. Nights were the hardest. The lonely streets, cold wind, and distant city lights mocked her dreams. In the evenings, she would sit on a quiet bench in Golden Gate Park, the faint smell of salt from the bay mingling with blooming flowers. She would close her eyes and imagine her life different, but the shadows of doubt whispered that perhaps she was too small, too invisible, too powerless. One rainy afternoon, Grace rushed through Market Street, rain soaking her thin coat. Cars splashed through puddles, buses groaned under the weight of commuters, and the city seemed to blur in streaks of yellow streetlights. She slipped near a crowded crosswalk, scraping her knee. Tears pricked her eyes, but she kept moving, ashamed to ask for help. That was when she felt a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Are you okay?" a calm voice asked. Grace looked up into the kind eyes of a man named Ethan Parker, a local cafe owner known for quietly helping those in need. He held an umbrella over her, shielding her from the rain. He didn't ask for anything in return. Just simple, human kindness. Something so rare, yet so powerful, that Grace felt her chest loosen as if a heavy stone had been lifted. Ethan offered her a warm drink in his cozy cafe overlooking the bay. The smell of coffee, pastries, and rain-washed air wrapped around her like a comfort she hadn't known she needed. They spoke quietly. He listened to her stories of the village, of her dreams and fears. And for the first time in her life, Grace didn't feel small. She felt seen. She felt hope. The weeks that followed were gentle transformations. Ethan helped her find a small room in a friendly neighborhood, introduced her to people who quietly offered work and guidance, and reminded her every day that even in a city so large, kindness could find her. Grace began to understand that courage didn't always roar. Sometimes, it whispered softly, in the form of an unexpected stranger who believed in you. Life slowly began to change for Grace. She found a part-time job at a local bookstore, working among shelves of novels that smelled of paper and adventure. She marveled at the city streets during her commute, cable cars creaking up the hills, taxis weaving through heavy traffic, pedestrians hurrying with purpose. Each sight reminded her of her first terrified steps, and each smile from strangers reminded her that the city, despite its rush, had hearts that could care. Yet, challenges never fully disappeared. Some days, the loneliness crept back, reminding her of her village home and the family she missed dearly. Bills piled up, work was tiring, and she sometimes doubted her own abilities. But Ethan's quiet encouragement stayed with her. "You're stronger than you think, Grace," he would say, "and your kindness will ripple, even when you can't see it." One morning, as she walked along Crissy Field, watching the Golden Gate Bridge shrouded in mist, she realized she had changed. She stood taller, spoke with confidence, and smiled without hesitation. The girl who once hid in the shadows of her village now navigated the city streets with a gentle courage. The stranger's kindness had not just helped her survive, it had taught her to thrive. Grace eventually began helping others, small acts at first, offering a warm coffee to a tired bus driver, giving directions to lost tourists, or simply smiling at the lonely faces she passed in the park. She realized that kindness was contagious. It spread quietly, softly, like the wind over the San Francisco hills. Years later, Grace looked back at the girl who had arrived on that old village bus, eyes wide with uncertainty. That girl had been fragile, unsure, and heavy with silent burdens. Today, Grace Mitchell stood as someone transformed, not just by her own perseverance, but by the unexpected generosity of a stranger named Ethan Parker. And in the heart of every street, every park, and every crowded bus, she carried the simple truth: a single act of kindness can change a life forever. Sometimes, it only takes one person to remind you that the world is full of good, and that your dreams are never too far to reach. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, please comment below and share it with your friends. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Quest, for more inspiring stories. Let's spread kindness together.